everybody, welcome to my channel. I thought today I'd do something a little bit different and focus in on ColourPop, but not just the brand, actually focusing in on my own personal and rapidly growing collection of their eyeshadows, because I am a huge fan of them and I just kind of want to like share the love. So this video is not sponsored by ColourPop, I wish it was, and nobody has asked me to do this, nothing like that. I just am really super stoked about these products. They're only $5 per shadow and they have a huge color range, and basically it's the best thing ever. Now, if you are unfamiliar with ColourPop shadows and their formulation and why they're so unique, here's the cliff notes. Basically, they come in these little pots with screw top lids, so they kind of look like gel eyeliners when you're, looking at them from a distance. And then you open them up and you can see it looks like a cream liner, right? But they're actually not. They're not cream, they're not powder, they're not gel. They're like, what the heck are they? I don't know if anybody really knows except the people who make them. They're kind of a hybrid of the three. So ColourPop is super vocal about the fact that the best way to apply these when you want like maximum serious pigment is to use your fingers, which means that for a professional makeup artist putting things on other people, maybe not the best choice, because there is a sanitation concern with putting your fingers in a pot and then touching random people's faces. However, for those of us who just want to put it on our own face, that's fine. Amazing pigment, the texture is super unique. $5 a pop, huge color range. I am obsessed. So let's get started. So the one that I just showed you is Shameless, which is, it's actually showing up on the camera pretty accurately, which is one of the reasons I'm filming this now. I'm like, oh, I have a good light window, let's use it. Shameless is actually, it's a matte black base with like green and blue shimmer and glitter and duochrome to it. Look at that. And you see how opaque that is? I just went like swipe like that. And then it blends out on the skin like so. You see it's very creamy, but it shears out a little bit. But you can still see, do you see the shimmer and the duochrome in that? You can see that, right? Now, if you want to get an opaque black ground, so that the glitter will like seriously pop, like for a nighttime look, I would recommend putting these over a black base, such as a black ground paint pot by MAC, or any kind of black creamy base that you use. But if you want to have more of a slightly more sheer look, you can just apply it over your, your bare lid or your primer, and you can also apply multiple coats. I find with ColourPop shadows, the best way to do that is to wait about 15 seconds after you tap on the first coat and then apply another one. And then if you want to keep going, of course you can do that, but give the product time to kind of settle on the skin first. The reason that I didn't say wait for it to dry is because these aren't really cream eyeshadows. They are a powder, but it's like a wet powder, if that makes sense. I know it probably doesn't, but that's because these are super unique. So it's not like I can say, oh, they're like these 7 other eyeshadow, brands that you can buy at the drugstore, because they're really not. They are the closest thing that I could find to it that's similar in any way to the texture would be the L'Oreal Infallible Singles, but even so, these are different. The L'Oreal Infallible, they're more like a pressed pigment, and they'll kind of come unpressed, which is why they give you the little like stamp thing in the container so that you can repress it. These do not do that. The other thing about the ColourPop shadows is you do need to keep them tightly closed. So if you're going to be working on one eye at a time, I will even close the pot in between working on them, because I want to keep all the fun inside. So that was Shameless. Moving on to Flower Shop. Bam! Look at that. This just came today, which is why it hasn't been used heavily yet, because it just arrived about an hour ago. This is a gorgeous mid-tone green with a goldish shimmer to it. Let's pick a clean finger. Look at that. And let's put him here. Like so. You can see the shimmeriness, right? And that's a super light, thin swatch. This one, again, you can get the color that's in here. Just gonna need to maybe tap it on, maybe do 2 layers of it. The other thing is, and ColourPop will tell you this too, when you are applying them to your lid, don't rub, because rubbing moves product around. You want to bounce, you want to tap, you want to do the beauty blender motion with your finger, and then you can use a brush to kind of, you know, blend out the edges. Moving on. Bay. I already talked about Bay in my first ColourPop haul video, so just as a refresher, this is Bay. And again, this lighting is great because Bay looks exactly like what it's looking like in the camera now. Bay is like a burgundy base with a blue-green duochrome to it. Let's swatch on the other hand. So it's got that gorgeous like maroony foundation to it, and then the blue on top. There, you can see the blue in that, right? Now that's one coat, very sheer and rubbing it out. But I'll show you what happens if I do it. If I do 2. You see how much more intense that is? Right. Bay is probably my favorite eyeshadow of all time from any brand. It's amazing. Amazing. Next, and I'm just pulling these out in any order. Okay, this is the other one I already talked about. It's Trois. It's a matte rust. I'm not even going to swatch it just because it's just a matte rust. And watch my other ColourPop video if you want to see a swatch. It's a matte rust. Gorgeous color, but... Okay, next. Central Perk. Central Perk is close to Trois, but it's darker. It's a darker maroon burgundy. This is a matte finish. And this is one where you see it shears out to a light burgundy there. And with this one in particular, I find it's super important to kind of build it gradually in stages. So here's 2 coats. You see how it's getting darker, right? But you have to make sure that it settles first before you apply multiple coats, because otherwise what happens is as the first product is kind of like curing on the skin, if you put another layer on before that curing process is finished, what happens is it'll start to actually pick up the product that's already there. So it gets a little patchy or streaky. It's kind of like if you put on your concealer and then you set it with powder, but then you decide, oh, I want to put another layer of concealer on it. And, you know, sometimes it can actually pick up the old powder and concealer and you look like your skin's coming off. Very gross. This is not that bad, but it's the same kind of principle. So particularly with the darker, more matte shadows, I would recommend that you just, you know, wait a couple seconds and then go in. Now, the other thing about the really dark ColourPop shadows, and in particular the ones that have a red component to them, is it is super important to put a primer on before you apply them, because the pigment is intense enough that if you don't wear a primer, it can stain your lid. Now, I'm not talking about permanent staining, but I'm talking about how it might be difficult to really get all of the pigment off immediately. So you can save yourself that annoyance and irritation, because, you know, the skin here is super delicate. You don't want to have to scrub and tug and pull. Use a base. You should be using a base anyway. Next, lace. Check out that purple. Check it out. This is a metallic royal purple that pops like you would not believe. Bam! Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Look. Even when it's sheared out, do you see how metallic it is? And of course, you can apply multiple coats and your eye will look like this. It's fabulous. Love it. It's a purple shade that I really feel anybody could wear. Next, Rex. Oh, this is another favorite. I have a lot of favorites, can you tell? This is Rex. Rex is a matte black with tons of cobalt glitter and shimmer. Wow. It is quite reminiscent of NARS Night Flight eyeshadow. Actually, do you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna go grab that. Okay, I have Night Flight. So this is Night Flight. See that? Let's hold them up side by side. They are extremely similar. You can see that the ColourPop has a more obvious blue cast to it though. I love Night Flight though. You could totally layer these. You could really, like, you could almost like use this as a base for the Night Flight, or if you want to get really crazy, put down a black base, then put this, and then use Night Flight as like your liner. Oh, amazing! I also find, by the way, that the ColourPop shadows that have a black base and then they have a colored glitter or shimmer, the colored portion of it shows up much better than even the NARS. And you know, NARS, we're talking, this is high quality cosmetics, but ColourPop, man, I don't know if it's unicorn tears or what, but they got something in here because it's impressive. Next, So Quiche. This is another new one that just came today. Now, this is one that is kind of impossible to photograph, and it's kind of impossible to even show you in the pot what this really looks like because it's very complex. What it is it's like a mauve taupe, but it has green and pink and multi-toned glitter in it. So the way that it looks in the pot to me is kind of like an olive color with pink glitter, but apparently this really changes depending on what you pair it with. Now, because I have only owned this for about an hour, I haven't really played around with it yet, but I wanted to show you that. It's super versatile. You can see that there's taupe, there's lavender, there's olive, there's pink, there's all kind of tones in there. Now, here's the thing. I have read several online reviews where people are like, So Quiche is the most amazing shade of all time. If you only buy one ColourPop eyeshadow, that's the one it should be, etc. I don't necessarily agree, and I'm going to show you why. Now, I like it. It's great, and it is really unique, but it's pretty similar to Cricut. Let's do a side-by-side. This is So Quiche. This is Cricut. Do you see what I'm talking about? They're super similar. Okay, So Quiche, Cricut. The difference is Cricut doesn't really have green in it at all. So Cricut is like a plum taupe with gold reflects in it, minus the green business. So they're both beautiful, and if you want to get both of them, go for it. But if you have one, I don't think your world is going to be lacking. Do you know what I mean? So, but those are both. Actually, I can't talk about So Quiche yet just because I haven't worn it yet. But Cricut, I love to just put it on my lid and that's it. You know, when I don't have time to do a whole like eyeshadow look with contour and highlight and blah. It's great for applying it in the car, you know. Next, Truth. So Truth is one of these safe neutrals. It's like a satiny finish. I'm trying to find a clean finger. It's like a satiny finish, tan beige. It's like satin or pearl. Let's find. Trying to find a clean spot. So it's basically my skin tone, which is why it's hard to see probably for you guys. Plus, I put it in the most awkward swatch spot of all time. Sorry, but very useful base color, or again, if you just want to have an all-over wash of really simple color, Truth is a wonderfully useful, versatile neutral. Game Face. If you like metallics, get ready for Game Face. You better put your sunglasses on. Bam! Check it out, Metallic Copper. It is the legit shade of a brand new penny. Look at that. Feast your eyes on Game Face. And check out that pigment, kids. Check it out. Let's see. Where should we put you? Look. And that's one that you don't even really have to layer at all. It just goes on and it's like, bam. Amazing center of the lid highlight. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, last one for now. This is Partridge. Partridge is extremely close to MAC Club. So you have a brown, like a taupe brown base with green duochrome in it. It's lovely. Do I have space left? See that? And what I love about it is that it's such an interesting color, but it's not a glitter bomb. So it's another one where you could really do anything from that sheer wash of color that makes people be like, oh, that's changing colors, all the way up to something super crazy and dramatic for, you know, an event or whatever, or filming a YouTube video, you know. Anyway, there's more to talk about kids, but I'm gonna stop this installment for right now so that by the time I'm done editing it, I'm not too old to post it. So that's the current ColourPop collection. There is more on the way, of course. So we will talk about that when the time comes. But anyway, seriously, if you do not know about ColourPop, head on over to their website, check them out. $5 a shadow and free standard shipping in the US. I am not sure if there's a minimum purchase amount on the free shipping, but my purchases are always pretty small. They're like $25 and I get free shipping. Check it out, and thank you so much for watching. So thank you for spending some of your time with me today. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I would love to have you on board the crazy makeup train, and I will see you guys very shortly in my next video. So have a great day. See you later. Bye.